Welcome everyone. A lovely, cool, clear blue sky, nights. Soon there will be full moon. Calm, serene. Welcome. Let's start with salutation. Om Bhurбhuvah Tat Savitur Bharenam Bhargo Devasya Dhimai Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om. Our favorite Gayatri mantra we have been doing for our meditation. Today I'll cover with you the mantras and its meanings. The Om is the supreme light which takes you across this. As per Mandakya Upanishad, A is the Jagrat and U is the dream sleep and is the deep sleep. And then when you say Om and then you take a deep breath, that's before you say next sentence or Om. That silence is the Turiya, the fourth. This Om actually, as per the Mandakya Upanishad, gives us a practical experience of who we really are. Jagrat, awakened, Swapna, the dream sleep state, and Sushupti is the deep sleep state. Other than these three states, we do not have any other. But Mandakya says, see, when you become silent, after you say Om, and it is A and U, Jagrat and Swapna, it becomes O as per Sanskrit, Sandiksha. And is the deep sleep, and then silence is the Turiya, the fourth. That Turiya actually is who you and I are. The silence. And then you again start the Om. This Om, the meaning is going, we meditate on the radiance and the Gayatri, on the radiance of that supreme divine light, which is nowhere else within us. When you are chanting Gayatri mantra, Om Bhurбhuvah Swaha, chanting that Savitur, Tat is that, and Savitur is that brilliant light from which the sun has borrowed its light. So wonderful, no? And that light is actually within you and me and in everyone. And this is why this Gayatri mantra is extremely powerful. And Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, amongst all mantras, I am the Gayatri of all the mantras. I will tell you a little more on this. When you say Om Bhurбhuvah Swaha, Om you heard, Bhurбhuvah Swaha, earth, heaven, and the space in between. Om Bhurбhuvah Swaha. And that space in between, I'm covering with my prayers and all that. Tat Savitur. Tat is that, and Savitur is actually sun, which is borrowed that light, that brilliance light. And the supreme, like the representation of the Ishvara, that light which is within us. Aham Brahmasmi. Tat Tvam Asi. You are that. You are that. And we are all that. But we align ourselves only with the body and the name and the form. And we say, this is who we are, and this is my age, and this is my suffering, and this is my sickness and disease. So, what is Vedanta actually? Atmiyata duksha nivritti paramananda prapti. So, remove the dukshas, Vedanta does that, and gives you attainment of bliss. Whatever the suffering comes, you start to realize it is only of the body or of the mind. And you are not the body and the mind. You are that Tat Savitur, the supreme light, that Brahmasmi, Brahma within. And it goes on to say that light of all lights is that very special, is like the supreme Ishvara, Godhead, is being described as Savitur, which in turn lights the sun. Can you imagine, can you think that you and I have that light within us, which is actually lighting that sun? And this is what you meditate on when you're doing that Gayatri mantra. It says, Dhyo yo na. Dhyo is the intellect. And yo is who. Na. Na means our. The intellect of ours. Prachodayat means direct. Om bhur bhuvasvaha tat savitur varenyam. And then goes on to say, Bhargo devasvahi vahi dhiyo yona prachodayat. And that dhiyo intellect, yo means who, na means our, and prachodayat is direct. The dhiyo yona meaning the direct, effulgent, or the radiant light, which is the creation within us. And Varenyam, it goes ahead to say the supreme. Supreme. And Bhargo is not only light, Bhargo also means one more thing. It means that negativity which is within us. Light on not only lights, the flame of a candle or the fire, it not only gives light, it also burns. So the Bhargo over here, it is also meaning that it burns away the negativity which is within us. That is why this power chanting of the Gayatri mantra is so powerful and so important. And it goes on to say, Dhimahi, it means meditate on that. The overall, that brilliant of light which is within us, and Bhur Bhuva Swaha, between heaven and earth and the space in between, and Savitur is like the sun, that brilliant sun, but it borrows the light from that supreme light which is the cosmic light, which is also ours light. It is like if I want to take bath in river Ganga, the river Ganga is from Gangotri, Gomukhi, right up to the Bay of Bengal. I don't take bath in all the places from there to here. I just go to any place in the Ganga and I take bath there, isn't it? Similarly, if I take a bottle of Ganga Pani, that bottle of Ganga Pani is identical to the entire river of Ganga Pani and the purity. You and I store it in our house, isn't it? And it never gets polluted if you keep it properly. It never gets bad. You don't have to refrigerate it. We keep it outside. I have more than 15 or 20 years old Ganga Pani with me in a cherry can. And it's so good till now. All other lights, whether physical, intellectual, spiritual, is derived, whether physical, whether spiritual, or intellectual, or mechanical light, it derives from that light. And that light is you and me. And the devotee meditates on that Bhargo, that light of the light, Godhead, of absolute reality. The reality of everything is relative universe, and the relative universe is derived from it. This universe is born from that light. And what is that light in you and I? It's the consciousness. It's that consciousness. The knowledge of that completely destroys all ignorance is the other meaning of the Bhargo. Destroys all negativity, ignorance, and delusion, and leads us to the direct realizations of the Supreme. Gayatri mantra is there given in the Rig Veda. And you will be surprised to know the Gayatri takes away, Gayatri mantra takes us across all the suffering through the supreme knowledge. That's Gayatri. Gaya Atri. But you will be amazed to hear that the Gayatri mantra has another two names, and that means the Savitri. Savit is the same wording. Savitri mantra means that whatever complexities that you have, complications, that problems in our life, sufferings and relationship, that is removed and you attain what you want, what you desire. And it goes on to say that the Saraswati is the third name for Gayatri, Savitri, Saraswati mantra. Saraswati, Saras means river. And this river in which the knowledge is flowing and you attain that knowledge as it flows. So Gayatri mantra, Savitri mantra, Saraswati mantra. And this is why Krishna says that I am amongst all the mantras is the Gayatri mantra. I want you to take across to a little two stories of what we had talked about Maya. And we will continue to cover this Sunday on Maya a little more detail. We had done it for quite some time, 1.5 hours or so. Maya is one of the biggest subjects. You remember? Manavatananda, he pleased Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda said, okay, ask me what you want, I'll give it to you. What knowledge do you want? He said, I want to know about Maya. Swami Vivekananda smiled and said, ask something else. It's so complicated. He said, ask something else. Anyway, he went ahead and explained. And remember, I showed it to you last time, that the whole world around Manavatananda, including Vivekananda and later on including himself, just vanished. There was nothing there. And then he says, that means everything is Maya. You are also Maya. And he called him Tumi. As again, the Guru is supposed to say Apni. Aap. In Bengali, he's supposed to say Apni. And then he woke up. When he said Tumi, he woke up. Something shattered within. So this Maya is actually the Shakti. And when you chant Gayatri mantra, you are empowered to see the reality, the knowledge, destroys all your evil, takes you away from all suffering, and takes you away from Maya. Maya is the Shakti of Brahman. And Brahman and Maya coexist. It's like the blue sky is not blue. It looks blue. So the blue color and that sky, they coexist. Though sky is not blue, it appears to be blue. The snake and the rope, they coexist. Snake did not take birth from an egg. It appeared in the darkness of the alley. The rope appeared to be snake. And when it showed the knowledge of light, the rope becomes visible, snake vanishes. Notice you didn't have to kill the snake because it is not real. So our body and the mind and the name and the form is not real, but it appears to be real. And this is what it is, Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya, is Shankaracharya. But what is Paramahamsa Ramakrishna and Vivekananda saying? Brahma Satyam Jagat Satyam. Jagat is also true. Brahma is also true. This Jagat is true because we are living in this world. And Paramahamsa Ramakrishna says it so beautifully. He says, after all, this body and this universe and this world and everything around us is created by that same Brahman. The Brahman is created, how can it be false? It is true. But yes, you and I have to know about, through the knowledge, light of knowledge, and make the snake vanish and see the rope. So, like in TV, when you're watching TV, and if it is ghost story, you're not liking it, you change the channel or you switch off the TV. What? That is yoga says. TV is disturbing you, switch off the TV. That man, that girl is disturbing you, don't meet them, don't talk to them. This is yogic process. But Vedanta is saying, you don't have to run off to the mountain Himalaya and take God's name and die over there. You will miss the boat. Vedanta also says that you do not headlong dive into the samsara and forget about everything else of your spiritual practices. That they too miss the boat. So what should you do? You and I are supposed to divinize our life. Vivekananda's word, divinize your samsara. Live there, but like the lotus flower in the water, not touched by that. This is what Paramahamsa Ramakrishna is talking, an example of Maya. He's saying, I'll take you to Bengal. Those of you who've been there, Bengal has very rich soil, lush with greenery everywhere. And Paramahamsa Ramakrishna comes from Kamar Pukur. This Pukur is a little pond. Big pond, small pond. Big ponds are called Jheel. And medium to small ponds are called Pukur. This Pukur is so rich with the soil that it grows hyacinths. Like you see in Mulla Mutta river sometime. It is all richly covered, but they're not like Mulla Mutta, big thing. They're thin leaves and covering the whole thing. If you go to drink water, or if you try to take drinking water, they're very good water. You can drink it. When you take it, you move the hyacinths and it goes away. And as you take the water, make sure leaves don't come. And you had put a cloth over there so that it goes into. It's drinkable. And the moment you come out, immediately that same hyacinth dumps it back and covers up that place. This is what Maya does. When you're meditating, when you're practicing, when you're doing japam with Gayatri mantra, when you're with a holy company, when you're reading a holy book or listening to holy words of God's words, this Maya disappears. And the moment you come out of the holy company, stop the meditation, it tends to come back till you come to a state where when this power of the practices continue to be with you like a toothache. Crude example, but toothache always is there and tells you, a good example, tells you you have a toothache. You're connected with God. It tells you. Ramanujam a great monk 300 years after Shankaracharya. He he wrote, it is Advaita. He brought in another idea called Vishishta Advaita, which actually goes ahead and talks about two. There are two, and Ishvara and Prakriti, Maya and Shiva. This too is what he talked about. I'm telling you a little story. One day in the Ranganathananda Mandir in South, where he was a realized master, Ramanujam. He was like Paramahamsa, though he did not have the title. And they were all in the temple, and they found one young, good-looking guy with a very good-looking, pretty girl. They are in the mandir. No, instead of in the mandir, looking at the mandir and doing a pranam and doing prayers, the girl was looking at the Lord Vishnu, and the boy was only looking at her, not looking at the deity. So it is not correct, right? In temple, you're not looking at girls. So Ramanujam was also there somewhere. So he told his disciples, go and call the boy. The boy came. Very respectful boy. He did pranam to Ramanujam and called him. He was a great enlightened master at that time. He created that bhashyam, which tells you about the power of the duality. Ramanujam asks him, why are you looking at that girl? He said, sir, I have never seen such beautiful eyes, and she is my friend. And it goes on to later on say, he was a wrestler, he became quite famous, and he married the girl also later on. But that day, Ramanujan said, you're looking at her because of the most beautiful eye in the world? He said, yes, sir, I find her eyes are the most beautiful in the world. I've never seen an eye like that. She's my friend. The Ramanujan tells him, okay, you come in the evening. I will show you the most beautiful eye of the universe. Do you want to see it? He said, yes, sir. He said, come in the evening. The evening Arati, and those of you who visited South Indian temple, the entire temple is almost dark. And the only light is the Diya Arati light, and there are big flames light are all over the temple. That's the light. And this god Ranganathananda is in a lying posture, Vishnu. So the boy comes, and the temple was not allowing him. He said, Ramanujam sir has called me. Then they allowed him to come. He comes in, stands next to Ramanujam. Ramanujam takes and calls him, come with me, and goes close to the deity. And as they were doing Arati, as the fire falls, the light of the fire falls into the eye, Ramanujam holds this boy's hand and says, look at the most beautiful eye of the universe. And as this boy looks at, he suddenly sees the face becomes alive. And he sees the most beautiful eye. And just looking at the God's eye, seeing divine darshan, he goes into samadhi. And Ramanujam, who was standing next to him, holding the boy's hand, he also goes into samadhi. And all the devotees are seeing them. They cannot see the God's eye. Only this boy could see. Ramanujam empowered him. It's like Paramahansa Ramakrishna is seeing Mother Kali, talking to Mother Kali live. Nobody else can see. But she goes on to samadhi. He goes on to samadhi. He's seeing her. Others can't see. So there is one problem in that. that the others can't see, so they may doubt me coming, isn't it? So this doubt creates problem in the people's mind. And that is where they say, have faith. And in fact, this word faith is there in most of the country, like Western world. This Maya is what made him see in the girl's face the most beautiful eyes in a physical form. But actually the most beautiful was the God's eye. And once, Paramahansa Ramakrishna says it again and again, once you have the joy of God, then the samsara is like aloo pakoda. you eat it when you have it, but then you suddenly find it is nothing. You don't feel like having anymore. Now, this Maya created another story. There's a small fisherman. He was a very weak, very poor fisherman, and he is going out to catch fish, and he prays, God, I have not managed to catch one fish for the last 3-4 days. We have problem with food, and my wife, she's wanting a silver bangle. I don't have any money. Please give me some good fish today, praying to God. And if I catch good fish, then I can sell it and get some money and buy her silver bangle. He said, today I'll go to the deeper end. In the deeper end, he goes and throws his net, and he doesn't find any fish. He says, God, please help me. He again throws, no fish. Third time when he throws, suddenly he felt, my net is feeling heavy. And as he brings it up, and there is this fish, a beautiful golden big fish. And strangely, the fish was talking, and fish said, save me, please don't kill me, please don't take my life. I'm finding it so difficult outside water, please let me go, please let me go. The fisherman said, but I haven't caught any other fish, you're the only fish, if I let you go. And he's surprised, the fish is talking. The fish said, listen, I have powers, I'll be always your friend, I will never ditch you, but let me go. The fisherman said, yes, very nice. I'll let you go, you vanish. I won't be able to catch you anymore. The fish said, no, I will never go. I'll be your continuous friend. I promise. Trust me and see. The fisherman was a very kind-hearted man and good-natured. He was not selfish. He politely, gently put the fish in the water. And as she went down and came up, and the whole body around her started glowing, and the glowing fish said, you had in your heart, you wanted a silver bangle for your wife, isn't it? Look at your basket for the fish, that bangle is there. And he looks and he sees the silver bangle. And wife had threatened. Wife was quite a tyranny. She said, if you don't get it, I'm going to leave you and go to my mother's home. So he goes happily, bangle, and gives the bangle. Wife is very happy. And then he tells the story. Then the wife always criticizes him. Said, what a fool you are. A fish who's ask me anything, and you only ask for bangle, and you're happy with it. You should have asked for something more. Ask for more gold and silver. Go back just now. Otherwise, I'm not going to give you any food. Poor fisherman. He trudges along and he's telling the wife, listen, you should not think like this. You should not keep on being so greedy. And greed is that Maya. Wife says, nothing doing. So he goes, he asks, and the fish comes up and says, okay, that's all. Please go, my friend. Go, it will be there. And as he goes, he finds in front of his hut, there are lots of gold, almost, like a truckload of gold and silver is all piled up. And wife is trying to put back inside so that the neighbors don't come and see it and start to steal from them. And now wife says, what is this? There is so much of gold and so much of silver. What do we do? They sell it and make some money to make their living, and she buys some good sari and things like that. But how am I going to protect it? We need a bigger house. The next day, she chases out the fisherman, Go and ask your friend fish, I want a big palace. Fisherman is not happy to go and ask, but he goes and asks, and fish says, no problem, go and see your big palace. And as he comes back, big palace, as he comes to enter, God says, you can't enter. And the wife from top says, no, enter, he is my husband. He goes up and he says, a big palace and the gold and all stored in the strong room. But the wife is very worried now. See, all these people have come to know, we got a big house, we got lots of gold, they will come to rob us and they will kill us. You please go and say, come whatever may, make me very strong so that I can protect and all dacoits will be scared of me. They will not come to this house. The fisherman again, poor fisherman, very sad. He doesn't feel like asking again and again. But he goes and asks, this is Maya. And fish comes up and says, okay, your wife will be the most strongest woman. Go. And as he comes back, he sees in front of his house, there's a huge Rakshashi, 10 feet tall, big muscles, teeth outside. And he says, oh, who is this? He's trying to run. And his wife calls out, it is me, it is me, it is me. This is what Maya does, takes you across. There is a saint in Himalaya says, माया को प्रतिष्ठित मत करिए महाराज, माया को काटिए. And this is why the Greek sons in Himalaya, when they meet, they always say, Drishti saaf hai? Is your vision clear? With the prayers to the Divine Mother, that may all our visions get cleared. Asato ma satkamaya, take us from unreal to real. And tamaso ma jyoti gamaya, to cut the maya, to cut the snake, we have to throw the light of wisdom and the knowledge to see the reality, the raw. That may the Divine Mother, our gurus and the gods and saints of all religion, give us that wisdom and the knowledge, so that the death is a celebration and no more suffering and pain and doubt and fear. May our divine Gurudevas, Lairimase Teshwar Giri Paramahansa Yogananda, Mahavtar Babaji Krishna, Brahma Vishnu Maheshwara, Divine Mother of the Universe, Jagat Janani, Swami Vivekananda, Holy Mother Sharada, and Paramahamsa Ramakrishna bless us all in our journey. Om Jai Guru.